So I want to deal with this outrageous claim that Ukraine has lost 90,000 men since June. Now, Putin made this claim yesterday. He was in Sochi, and he said that since June 4th alone, Ukraine units have already lost over 90,000 people. This was at the Valdai Discussion Club in Sochi. And is it true? Is it even possible? Seems like a pretty high number. Now, I don't think it is. Now, I'm not there. I can't actually prove this, but I'm going to lay out my case. And if you just listen to me till I'm done, I want you to hear this and then decide for yourself what you think. Okay, so now let me go back a little bit further here. If we go back and we look at on Google, Ukraine has lost 90,000. Let's just Google that. And then we see, well, it looks like it's there. 90,000 Kyiv troops killed, according to the Hindustan Times. The original article, Ukraine has lost 90,000 men since June. Al Jazeera. Putin says Ukraine would last a week, and that that Ukraine has lost more than 90,000. But that's Putin claiming. The Washington Post also did it that same way. That Putin also alleged that Ukraine had lost 90,000, because he did actually say that, whether it's true or not. Now, I want to go back and give you a parallel first. So about a week ago, there was a claim in RT that more than 10,000 of Kyiv's forces have reportedly laid down arms in recent weeks using a special radio channel to contact the Russian military. That too seems incredibly high. In fact, so high that it's unbelievable. And I spent some time debunking that here on Pants on Fire. This was the Jimmy Dore show that picked it up. And here was 10,000 Ukrainians. This is breaking that Ukrainians surrender in the thousands according to redacted news. And this was my reaction video to that, because something wasn't right, and I showed you how it wasn't right. So let's go back and we'll talk about the original claim here in RT. After adjusting their tactics several times, Ukrainian units managed to capture a handful of villages near Zaporizhia in August, although losses remained high. Ukraine lost 17,000 men in September alone, according to figures from the Russian Defense Ministry. Again, that just sounds high, but remember, this is figures from the Russian Defense Ministry. Okay, we understand where and what we need to do, Putin said on Thursday. We are calmly moving toward achieving our goals, and I'm confident that we will achieve them. I believe that Putin is confident that he's going to achieve these goals, but here's why. Okay, now, I can't prove it because I'm not there, but I'm going to use some logical explanation to try to show you why I think that Putin is being lied to and believes something that he shouldn't be believing. Okay, so let's look at this article. This article I read just while I was reading a tranche of articles about the war yesterday. Ukraine said that it intercepted a call from a Russian soldier saying his unit was staging combat videos to make it look like they're fighting better than they actually are. Okay, let's read this, and then you'll see how it connects. So, Ukraine's military intelligence service says it intercepted the phone call of a Russian soldier telling his wife his unit was staging combat videos to make it look like they're fighting well on the front lines. There are new bodies every day, the soldier said. The body is lying 100 meters from my position. We can't even pick it up. Here's the original telegram. The body is lying 100 meters. We can't even pick it up, that they're drawing from with this kind of thing. In the audio released by Ukraine, the soldier's wife said she had seen footage that showed that some Russian troops had been successfully pushing through the Ukrainian village. But the soldier in the audio said it was BS and that he didn't believe it, adding that he too had taken recordings on his phone meant to show Russian forces making progress. These are Potemkin villages, and Potemkin villages have been going on since Catherine the Great. Okay, it's a Potemkin villages. It looks like a village, but there's nothing actually there. It looks like there's a whole village constructed here, but it's really just show. It was only facades. The soldier claimed that his commander instructed him to take video inspired by the Ninth Company, a Russian war film from 2005. So I dressed up all my soldiers, put them in their positions, and walked around filming them in the trenches to show how well they're fighting there, the soldier told his wife in the audio released by Ukraine. It was all sent to some superiors. Something clicked for me. So I teach leadership studies. My PhD is in organizational leadership. I spend time analyzing leaders, understanding how leadership works, reading about authoritarian leaders, cults, things along these lines. And something clicked. He's sending this to his superiors to make it look like this, and his superiors are going to send it to his superiors and make it look, wow, okay, and he's probably going to embellish the numbers, and he'll embellish the numbers, and he'll embellish the numbers, and by the time it gets to the top by the Russian MOD and gets sent to Putin, yeah, Putin really is being told that there are 90,000 Ukrainians that have been killed over the last, well, 3 months or so. Now, those lies are unsustainable, but we won't find that out for a little while. At a certain point, they're going to say millions of Ukrainians have been killed and multiple millions of Ukrainians, and the numbers just won't prove it. And if multiple millions of Ukrainians had been killed, it would be unsustainable for the Ukrainians. So why do they keep fighting? Well, this is the kind of thing this is the problem that you have when you lie. Okay, but the lying is understandable. Okay, so there's a parallel here. If you get enough pressure from above, then the incentives to lie become a thing, an important thing. And we can see this even in Wells Fargo in the United States. There was a bank scandal back in 2016. Wells Fargo forced to pay $3 billion for the bank's fake account scandal. What does this have to do with the war? It's the same dynamics. So here, Wells Fargo, the fourth largest bank in the United States, agreed Friday to pay $3 billion to settle its long-running civil and criminal probes into the heinous accusations of rampant fraudulent sales practice. Well, how'd they do that? The problems began when Wells Fargo executives pressured rank-and-file bank personnel to aggressively cross-sell products to enhance sales and revenue to meet certain quotas. So it's the same dynamic as within the Russian MOD. They want to prove results, and so I'm sure that this guy's let's go back to this article. So this guy he's getting pressure. His commander instructed him to make a video. Why? The Russian MOD, I'm sure, was pressuring them, show us some results. So he's going to show them the fake stuff. Let's go back to Wells Fargo here. Okay, so they pressured them to prove the results. And they created millions of saving accounts with checking accounts of customers without their knowledge or approval. To reach the sales goals set forth by the company, bank branch staff resorted to inappropriate activities. Sound familiar? Shooting fake video? They started using their own contact information on forums to prevent customers from discovering the scam. Now, what happened? The bank now admits that according to the Department of Justice officials, that it pressured employees to meet unrealistic sales goals that led to thousands of employees opening millions of accounts for customers under false pretenses. Go back to this other article about what's going on the front lines. So I dressed up all my soldiers, right? It was sent to some superiors. Okay, audio of the calls obtained by the various outlets has apparently revealed that Russian soldiers expressing frustration at being unprepared or treated like cannon fodder. I think that's the real situation. What you're telling your wife on the phone here is probably more real than these faked videos. Reuters last month reported on 17 phone calls that had been placed by Russian soldiers that were intercepted by the security service of Ukraine. The outlet said the calls showed Russian soldiers complaining about heavy losses and lousy gear. Okay, so what's really happening is it's not going all that great for the Russians, but they're getting pressure from the Russian Ministry of Defense, who's getting pressure to their colonels, who's giving pressure to their captains, who's giving pressure to their lower level commanders, who are then telling them, shoot this fake video. Fake video, here it is. Look at all these people being slaughtered. Look at all these Ukrainians being slaughtered. Look at all these Ukrainians being slaughtered. And it builds and builds and builds to the point that we're seeing these kind of headlines where Putin can actually say, Ukraine has lost 90,000 men since June. But I don't think it's realistic. I don't think that that's actually what's happening. Okay, so the last thing here. Putin may really believe that this is true. Now that's devastating, because if he believes this is true, he's going to have no less will to fight and carry on than he had before. And that's the misery when you're dealing with an authoritarian regime, that you're not walking in what is true, so you have a distorted view of reality, and he thinks he's bigger and badder than he actually is. So that's where we are, and that's why this was said yesterday. And again, it's going to be carried in all the major headlines. Hindustan Times is just going to copy and paste RT's version of this, and not even think about it. At least Al Jazeera and the Washington Post and some others are going to say that, Putin alleged that Ukraine has lost 90,000. Okay, so that's where we are. That's how I'm processing this. Tell me what you think. Am I off in left field, or am I just a dreamer, or maybe I'm just beholden to the mainstream media or something along those lines? Tell me what you think about this. Thank you for your time. Thank you for listening. Thank you for the likes, the shares, the subscribes, the coffees, but thank you most of all for being the kind of person that cares about Ukraine.